Aloha everybody, how's it going? This is Tommy Lee here, and I just want to welcome all of you guys back. Today is day 3 for me of 21 days to 2021, and my assignment really is to just share some positive information and some very impactful knowledge over the next few weeks of time leading up to probably the most opportunistic year we've ever had, believe it or not. And I hope that you guys had a chance to check out our day 1 and day 2, especially yesterday, talking about an attitude of gratitude. Man, we want to talk about things that'll make an absolute and instant change in your life, is really just having an attitude of gratitude. But today, out of the so many topics that I want to touch on before the end of the year, I really wanted to focus on one thing today. It's called increasing the value of your time. And that just sounds great right off the start, doesn't it? And when my mentors ask me, do you want to increase the value of your time? And what kind of idiot says, nah, man, I already make too much money and my bank account is full. But before we get into the topic, he asked me 2 questions. Number 1 was, would you like to have more problems? And most people right off the bat, are you kidding me? Heck no. I have enough problems. I've got bills and mortgage payments and kids to take care of, and I've got so much work, and I got all kinds of things that I have to do, and I got to fix up the house and this and that, and we've got all of these problems that are always stealing our time. And the second question he asked me was, what is your number 1 priority in life? And aside from God, if you're religious, if you're a Christian, of course God comes first, but after that, what is it? What's your top priority? And most people will say, well, me, or my family, and then me. And I want you to keep those 2 answers in mind, because the question comes down to is, number 1, well, do you want to increase the value of your time? And if the answer is no, then by all means, please stop watching this video. Number 2 question is, hey, is it possible? Is it possible to increase the value of your time? And number 3 is, ask yourself, well, who decides how much your time is worth? So first question, would you like to increase the value of your time? And is it possible? Well, I want all of you guys to think back about your past, or maybe your very first job, and ask yourself, what is the least amount of money that you've ever made in an hour? I mean, I used to be a newspaper delivery boy, and I think I only got paid about $2 per month per newspaper, and I had 100-something newspapers to deliver every single day. And so by end of the month, I mean, I was making like not much more than minimum wage when you dollar cost average that sucker out. Some of us have made $5 an hour working at a gas station or bagging groceries or something. Some of you guys who are like me, or dinosaurs, or even older than me, you say, hey, Tommy, I used to make $3.50 an hour, or $2.50 back picking pineapples back in the day. And I've heard some pretty outlandish, crazy stories, like, what, you used to make like 50 cents an hour? And it's the question is, would you ever go back to making $5 an hour? Would you ever go back to making $3.50 an hour? And the answer is, of course not. And the reason why is because your time is now worth more to you, okay? And when it comes to answering that question, well, hey, you know what? I don't want more problems. Well, what my mentors taught me is that the size of your problems and the number of problems that you can solve directly correlates to the amount of money that you make. People that have solved small problems, they make small money. I mean, if you can just make change at a cash register, you make $12 an hour. If you can speak Japanese and English and you're bilingual, then you can make $16 an hour working in Waikiki or something, right? If you're an attorney and you only handle traffic tickets and DUIs, well, you're going to make small money. But if you're an attorney that handles class action suits, then you probably make millions and millions and millions of dollars. So again, if you ask yourself the question, do you want more problems? The answer should be yes, because the number of problems you can solve and the size of the problems you can solve will increase your value to the marketplace, okay? Look at the people that have solved the biggest problems in the world, right? Like maybe Bill Gates or Steve Jobs and Wozniak, who created the cell phones that we use every single day, or computers, right? Look at the people that are solving the problems of today with COVID-19. A lot of opportunity there. People that created airplanes to get somebody from point A to point B and to save time, right, and travel. And so I want you guys to really have that understanding of problems more is a way to go out there and increase your value. You know, even in the Bible, like we said, Jesus said, service to many leads to greatness, right? Okay, so we want to get more problems. The number two question was, well, what's your priority? And it's always all about, well, me and my family. And yeah, that's true, 100%. But the key to getting everything that you want or taking care of your family is to go out there and help other people's families. Help other people get rid of their bills, your bills disappear. If you help enough people get what they want, you automatically get what you want. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And so what we want to do is go out there and have this clear understanding that we're looking to solve problems. And what a great kind of an attitude to have. And it ties directly into the attitude of gratitude. You know, ask yourself, who decides how much your time is worth? And right off the bat, I was like, yeah, well, it's me. I decide how much my time is worth. Well, is that true? Really? I mean, if I went into Craigslist tomorrow and said, well, 1 hour of Tommy Lee's time is $50,000, I have decided that my time is now worth 50 grand. But the reality is, until the day somebody out there pays 50 grand for that 1 hour, is it really worth 50 grand? So we might say whatever we want, but it's the marketplace that'll dictate how much your time is worth. So we've got to have a huge problem solving or value adding kind of an attitude, okay? And when it comes to the types of income, and I'm not dedicating this call into getting into super depth just to touch on things, but there's basically 3 types of incomes that, you know, we learn you can make. And the first one is earned income, the second one is leveraged income, and the third one is portfolio income or investment income. And most people start off with earned income, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's basically having, most people in that category have a job, a job, and they're exchanging their time for money. And the problem with that is that we only got 24 hours in a day. When I first started getting into training and personal development, my mentor said, hey Tommy, you know that rich people have just about 24 hours in a day, and average people have just about 24 hours in a day, and poor people have just about 24 hours a day. Doesn't that make you mad? And I thought about it. I was like, yeah, I got mad because at that time I was working so hard and overtime 7 days a week, and I was just broke as a joke. And it didn't matter how many jobs I got and how hard I tried. It just seemed like I was always struggling. Too much month left over at the end of the money, right? It didn't matter how hard or how smart I was. It's just I didn't have the formula right. And learning those things and learning these concepts, you know, I haven't had a job this century. I mean, thank God I went out there and found a way to create the second category, was called leveraged or residual income. You know, J. Paul Getty, one of the first recorded billionaires in America, said, I'd rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts rather than 100% of my own. And what that means is, hey, you know, nobody gets rich off of their own efforts. You know, if Bill Gates didn't go to work tomorrow, dude's still making millions and millions and millions of dollars, right? He's the kind of guy where if he was walking down the street and 10 grand fell out of his pocket onto the ground, and he turned around and picked it up, it'll cost him more than 10 grand to pick it up. Now, I'm not saying we got to make that kind of money, but our first goal's got to be, how do we get our time back? Don't you want to find out a way? This is how they put it to me. Would you want to make money 8 hours a day or 24 hours a day? Would you want to make money off of just your own efforts in one currency in your location when you're working? Or would you want to figure out a way where you can make money in different time zones, 24 hours a day, and in different currencies in different countries? And that sounded a lot more attractive to me. You know, Warren Buffett said, if you don't find a way right now to make money in your sleep, you're going to work until the day you die. And I honestly believe that. So we got to find a way to leverage, number one. And we got to, number two, find a way to make residual income. Now, what is residual income? Residual income we'll cover in a later call because I don't want to make this too long. But find something, a vehicle, or find something that you could do where you could apply energy once, just once, and get paid on it multiple times. That's why I like working with things that are residual and things that are compounding. Okay, and the third I'm not even going to talk about, but it's portfolio income and investments. And once you got your 24 hours out of the day back, in other words, you have 6 Saturdays and 1 Sunday, and believe me, that's a beautiful place to be, because I've been there since 2000. Like the last 20 years I haven't punched in not once, not a nothing. I just became a business owner, and I learned how to leverage my time and effort. Okay, but once you got that money, covering your day-to-day expenses or your cost of living allowance, now you're free. And then you can start putting in sweat equity and your excess money, your working capital, into building other vehicles or investing in things. Okay, so not every investment goes well, obviously. If you try 100,000 times to make a fortune, you may fail more than once over. But if you make it just once, what do you have? A fortune. And that's where you find your own way to go and invest. But I just would tell you, have a circle of mentors, of people that are super successful, and run it by them first, because we've all been in that situation where we've put time, energy, effort, money into something and it just didn't work. And so I hope that this call today really hit home, because at a time like COVID-19, and we've seen a lot of people that thought their lifestyle was so comfortable and so guaranteed, and the next moment, come February, March of this year, and I've seen a lot of people lose their business. I've seen them have to downsize their lifestyle. I've seen them stress out more than ever before, and they're looking for answers. And I'll just give you guys this piece of advice. A lot of people don't like change, and we're going to spend another call talking about change. But the only thing inevitable in life is change, and you've got to be able to adapt. And if you're on a ship that's sinking, how long are you going to stay on that ship? You better start coming up with a plan B. You got to understand when the horse that you're riding is a dead horse. I mean, kick it. If it ain't moving, guys, dead horse, get off that horse and jump on a different vehicle and try something else new, and get creative and seek for the advice and the knowledge where you can go out there and be okay, post COVID. And that's what some of these calls are really going to be about towards the end of the year, is that how are we going to look for and identify a plan, if you will, or a group of people, or a direction, or anything that's really has light at the end of the tunnel, versus just writing something out and slowly gonna go to a shallowy grave on the reef. You know what I mean, guys? If you're running for a dead end, that's not good. Back in the day when I was young, I used to ask my mentor, I said, we kept pushing because we always saw a light at the end of the tunnel. And he turned to me and says, "No, Tommy, I think that was the train." So I had a lot of growth that I had to go through, and to be open to new ideas. And I just want to encourage all of you guys just to stay positive. Get up when you skid on your face, dust yourself off, and find somebody that has what you want, and do what they do, and go where they go, and say what they say, and inevitably you're going to get the same result as them. And that's all I'm doing. So I encourage you guys to do the same thing. So I want to thank all of you guys for joining me on day 3 from beautiful Wailua, Hawaii. I can't wait for you guys to see what this place looks like at sunset. And I'm going to send up my drone and get a couple of cool shots. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with another cool topic. Take care, stay safe, and aloha.